As a reminder, please mute yourself unless you are appearing or testifying before this division. Good morning. This is a hearing before the Mayor's Office of Consumer Affairs and Licensing for the City of Boston. Today is Thursday, September 9th, 2021. Today's hearing is being held pursuant to temporary amendments to the open meeting law. That is what allows us to meet virtually. With us today is Executive Director Kathleen Joyce and myself, Rebecca Fu, Director of Operations. Calling first item, Orpheum Theater. The request is to maintain and operate the categories of stage plays, floor shows consisting of musical and theatrical performances with up to 70 instrumentalists and 70 vocalists for 7 days a week until the hours of 11 p.m. located at 1 Hamilton Place. Applicant is Boston Culinary Group, Inc., Manager of Record, Deirdre Kelly. Who is present on behalf of the applicant?
Good morning, Executive Director and Operations Manager Rebecca. Thank you very much. Dennis Quilty, representing the Orpheum Theater. With us this morning, Laura Marie Cancro from Live Nation and Erin McDermott, who is the for all intents and purposes, the Manager of Record in place. Deirdre Kelly is on maternity leave. But she has been, both Erin and Deirdre have been running the facility for some time, and Erin is certainly qualified, and we'd be happy to bring Deirdre before the division, when she returns from her leave. And the application before you today is really quite simple. For many, many years, long before the present director of this office, the Orpheum was caused to apply on a daily basis for entertainment licenses. And these are for some of the biggest acts in the United States and the world. And oftentimes it would turn out that a show could be placed quickly and we couldn't get a license in time. So it was very administratively very difficult to deal with. And quite frankly, I never saw any reason for it in the first place. The division has always licensed, as does the licensing board, this facility. They have an excellent reputation with the police and in terms of their management skills. And literally this will simply allow us to have an annual license and thereby do away with the need to be back and forth to City Hall looking for licenses on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And that really is the only change. We have vetted this with the MPPNA. I know they're present today, with the downtown, the bid, with the Residents Association, with the City Councilor, the Mayor's Office. And as we appear before you today, we've heard of no objections to this grant of this license. And no other changes are caused by this other than the administrative simplicity of having an annual license. We're certainly happy to answer any questions you might have.
Attorney Quilty, so what time do the shows start and end generally at the Orpheum?
Erin, what do you, most shows are 7:30. I mean, some of them are 8 o'clock, some of them slightly earlier, 7 o'clock, I would imagine.
Typically between 6:30 and 8 o'clock is the show start time. All of our shows end by 11 at the latest.
Okay. And what is the just for my own iteration, what is the capacity of the Orpheum?
It's 2763.
Okay. Have you submitted a security and operations plan to the office?
If we haven't, I think we have on file, I think, a security plan which has been used for each of the previous applications. We can certainly refile it with this application.
Okay, all right, thank you. I don't have any questions. Rebecca, do you have any questions?
Yes, what type of shows does the Orpheum hold? What type of genre, artists?
Mostly, literally national and international acts. Rolling Stones have appeared there. The Allman Brothers recorded a famous album there. Tedeschi Trucks Band every year. Joe Jackson. I mean, lots of people on the way up, people who've been around for a long time, but mostly in the kind of rock genre, I would imagine, with the occasional simpler act, if you will, but mostly I'd say the rock genre.
And we also do comedy as well. We have Chelsea Handler. We're seeing a big increase with more and more TV shows. We've had Schitt's Creek, we have Letterkenny, and even some podcast inquiries we're starting to get as those are becoming more popular.
And let's see.
We're just going through our internal questions, so give us just another couple minutes.
Yeah, so if you could just submit the security plan and a dispersal plan as well. And are there any individuals who would like to testify, beginning with elected officials or their representatives? Okay, and seeing none, the board will take this under advisement.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So
Thank
we're
you.
just gonna move out of order since Attorney Quilty, you're also representing SRV, correct?
Oh, Loco, I've got Loco.
Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. Loco. Okay, Loco. So next item is Loco Taqueria and Oyster Bar located at 412 to 414 West Broadway, South Boston. The applicant is Broadway Restaurant LLC, manager of record Michael Shaw. The request is to maintain and operate the categories of audio device, TVs, projectors, disc jockey, karaoke, up to 5 instrumentalists, 5 vocalists to their existing non-live entertainment license. Attorney Quilty.
Thank you again, Madam Director, and Rebecca, thanks for having us here this morning with this Mike Shaw, who's the present and proposed manager of record. Mike has been running this operation for many years, affiliated with the restaurants Lincoln and Capo across the street, very, very popular sites in the South Boston neighborhood. They, like many others, have been dark a lot given the COVID situation. In the last 18 months or so, have petitioned and been granted approval for a zoning change to allow this use and to allow an expansion of the premise into an adjoining space. That has also been vetted by the licensing board with regard to their alcoholic beverages and food service license. During the process of vetting the zoning change for the entertainment and the expansion, information was given out and questions answered on this application. And it is to allow live entertainment at the site. The new space allows for this. We have had a successful ONS abutters meeting. We have met with the St. Vincent's Neighborhood Association and with the district city councilor, Councilor Flaherty. Again, as we come before you, we're not aware of any opposition. They have an excellent reputation in the neighborhood, which I think is well-deserved, and we're certainly happy to answer any questions you might have. Mr. Shaw is here with us.
Okay, thank you. I'm looking at the floor plan that was submitted with the application, and I'm just going to ask, can you talk me through where the entertainment's going to be? And then we're going to ask you to resubmit that with the entertainment spots highlighted so that we can easily see it. If you don't
Mike,
mind.
I just have a small version. Can you walk through that, Michael?
Yeah, sorry.
And we will provide you with a larger format with specific information about locations.
Okay, Mike, I know where the entertainment usually is now. So if you want to start from there and just point out to me where you plan on having it.
Yeah, so there are two sides, obviously now. There's the 410 side, the 412 side, which was previously existing the last 6.5 years. The entertainment on the 412 side would remain when the 412 side is open in that corner. When 410 is open, it would be all the way in the back of that second room. If you see where the bathrooms are, at the back end of the bar, right in the middle of that wall, all the way in the back towards the parking garage.
Okay. All right, that makes, okay, I think I can see that. So if we just could get another copy of this with it highlighted for our records.
We'll provide that immediately. Yep.
So if the current space, the older space that's been there for 6.5 years is not having live, will you ever be having live entertainment in both spots at the same time? No.
You're not planning on it.
Okay. And above the new space, is that residential apartments?
It is, yeah.
Okay. So can you tell me a little bit about the community process?
Yeah, we went on over, my gosh, it must be like 16 months now. You know, we began pre-COVID and went through pre-COVID and COVID. You know, started out reaching out to the mayor's office, had an ONS abutters meeting, as I suggested, met with the St. Vincent's Association, met with the electeds or conversed with the electeds to make sure they were aware of it. I mean, I think we hit all of the possible areas of interest in the process, both on zoning, licensing, and entertainment, and all three were discussed at all of these meetings. Mike, would you be able to add anything?
No, I think a lot of this was discussed pre-COVID when we obviously initially planned and stopped the project, but both with, you know, directly communicating with the abutters, obviously the civic associations and our elected officials. We went through the community approval process in Dennis, I think it was 2019.
Yep.
And then everything kind of died. So we're just making our way to where we thought we'd be a couple of years ago.
Okay, and then have you taken any measures to mitigate noise, like soundproofing?
Yeah, our biggest expense in the new space was soundproofing. 4 layers of drywalls hung on 350 springs. We've measured in the tenants, which condo owners. Upstairs, there's 2 units. We've been up and down with them through the closeout process and construction. I personally been in there 5 or 6 times with Ascentech, who's our sound attenuation engineer. And we've had full support of the building, both owners and renters in the building above.
Okay, thank you. We've been finding since live entertainment has been allowed since COVID, we've been getting more and more complaints from residents who live above places that have live entertainment. So we're focusing a lot on soundproofing now, so that's helpful to us to be able to take that into consideration. And so the hours of entertainment will be 7 days a week until 1 a.m. Is that what the license is for?
Yes.
Okay. And will there be a dance floor?
No.
Okay, no dance floor. So let me think. So if you could, we'll probably need an updated plan from you as far as dispersal, because now you have this additional space as well, just so that we have that on record, and how you'll deal with clients. Okay. And Rebecca, I know you have a couple other notes here for specific things you have questions on.
I actually think you covered them. So
Okay.
that should be everything. Did you get a letter from the Civic Association?
Did we, Michael? It was.
If we did, it was in 2019. I don't know.
Okay.
Could you
We'll-
try to
we'll
get a
reach out.
copy? Okay, that'd be
We'll
great.
reach out to them and we'll get a letter.
I
Okay,
just want to have it on file. It sounds like you've done all you followed that, you've completed the community process, but just so that we have it on file. So I don't have any other questions.
okay.
Um,
Are there any individuals who would like to testify, beginning with elected officials or representatives? Okay. Seeing none, the board will take this under advisement.
Thank you, and thank you for taking us out of turn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, and the last item that we have today is SRV Restaurant located at 569 to 575 Columbus Avenue, Roxbury. The applicant is South End Partners, Inc. Manager of record, James Koshiner. Sorry if I butchered that. To maintain and operate the category of background music on the front patio for 7 days a week from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. to the existing non-live entertainment license. And who is present on behalf of the applicant?
I'm James Kochner, one of the owners.
And I'm Ted Hawkins. Hi, Becca.
Hi, Ted. Okay. So you're applying for the front patio and it's just music. Is this just for background music? Like for ambiance, what exactly are you looking for?
For both the front and the rear patio, we have 2 speakers out front and 3 speakers in the rear, just as background music.
I thought you were not applying for the rear patio.
I miscommunication. I thought that was on the application.
Okay, hold on one second. Let me just take a look.
See.
Yes, on your application, it just says add to outdoor speakers for background music on front patio.
Do I need to amend that? Start the process over, or what would be the?
I guess once we hear from Kim, maybe we'll know if we need to hear or at least get a letter from your butters regarding the back patio, because I think there might have been some concerns with the back patio. Let's see. Yeah.
So it's gonna be a total, you would like to request 3 speakers on their back patio, which is private property, right?
Correct, yes.
And then 2 speakers on the front, which is public property?
It's actually, it's a very wide sidewalk, so it's actually private on the front as well, but it does abut public property.
Okay. So we don't need any particular license for that, right, Rebecca?
No,
I'm
I-
talking about like public license.
yeah. I just want to confirm, is your back and front patio listed on your inspection certificate and your place of assembly permit?
Yes, it is.
It is, okay. And then, where are the abutters located? Are they at the backside?
It's the building that we're in is like 4 or 5 buildings altogether, and it's all commercial space. All offices above us and retail to the left and to the right of us. So the residential abutters are to the right and to the left of the building.
Okay. Could you submit a floor plan? Typically, when we have anything with entertainment, we need a floor plan for the patios. And if you could just mark where the abutters are as well, that would be helpful.
Absolutely.
And
And what's the capacity of both patios?
The front patio is 20 persons and the rear is 50.
Okay. And then, you do have residential butters on both sides. What will you be doing to mitigate the noise?
Controlling the volume.
Yeah, so controlling the volume has really been the name of the game for us. And, something that was brought up with our butters was just the louder the music is, the louder the talking is. So making sure that we keep to our agreed upon noise level, and then being sure that we have the music off by 10 p.m., which was also something that we agreed upon with our butters in a previous meeting.
Okay. So what was the back patio capacity again?
50 persons.
I'm sorry, what was it?
50 persons.
50 in the back, okay. Okay. All right, should we see if, Rebecca, do you want to see if there are people here?
Yep. Are there any individuals who would like to testify, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Hi, yes. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Kim Crucioli from the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. The Mayor's Office would like to go on record in support of this proposal under the conditions SRB agreed to with the Claremont Neighborhood Association and the abutters, which would be a 10 p.m. end for the outdoor music, no use of the upper deck, and then trying the front speakers for 1 year and continue use if there are no issues. Thank you.
So Kim, the Office of Neighborhood Services is also in support of the back patio having background music?
Yes, but the conditions from the abutters were for the front.
Okay.
What's the upper deck?
There's another on the office space upstairs. There's an amenity. One of the office spaces
Sorry,
down. Sorry.
sorry, say that again.
In one of the offices directly above the restaurant, they have a deck that they use as an amenity to like outside to have like lunch or whatever. We used it briefly during COVID for a couple private dinners or whatever, and we ceased to use it. So that's why it was brought up.
So this is, you were using a deck that's not part of your licensed premise?
Correct. We used it for 2 events back in 2020.
Okay, Kathleen, is there an issue with using CV liquor wise?
You would have to apply to extend your liquor license to that space.
Yeah, so,
You can't just use an unlicensed space with your liquor license. So if you plan on doing that in the future, contact us and we can help you.
Absolutely. We'll never do it again.
Okay.
and then I think Todd wanted to speak.
Yes, hi. Todd Campbell, or more specifically, Alexander Todd Campbell. I'm an official abutter at 424 Mass Ave, as well as a member of the Claremont Neighborhood Association, which would extend to a number of people that are not official abutters, but are impacted, especially by the rear deck space. The rear deck space has been in place for quite a while, has had music for quite a while. So I'm curious, just in clarity, because the previous license does not list outdoor capacity. It lists a 256 indoor capacity. I'm curious if that 256 included the 50 person rear deck capacity, and as to why that wasn't licensed previously, because it has been active potentially since the beginning of your restaurant as SRV. So I have a number of questions. I'd just like to start with that for clarity, because we're now talking about amending that, but that's also something that seems to have been in the works or being used for quite a while.
I think we're going to straighten out the capacity numbers both inside and outside. I think that's what we established at the beginning.
Okay, so does the 256 indoor capacity, did you previously include that to include that deck?
It's all part of the license. I could grab the license if you want me to.
Well, I have it right in front of me, but it shows no outdoor capacity. So I guess what we're talking about in this amendment, that is now also considered outdoor capacity.
So I think what we need to look at is the inspection and the place of assembly permit, because that dictates what the indoor capacity is and the outside. I did not look at it beforehand, unfortunately. But on the entertainment, I do know it says 2 something and nothing with the outside. Typically we put 0 if music has not been allowed outside yet.
But it's definitely contained music. And in the sense of neighborhood impact, again, the butters and now the front space, that deck area has a tremendous impact on the neighbors along the alleyway. So it's probably more important as far as residential impact, except for the changes that are now going across the street, to really focus on that outdoor deck. You had talked, Ted, about an agreed upon decibel level in a recent event and managing to that. I'm curious to one, is there a required decibel level that could be listed? And then how do you measure that? How do you ascertain that you're operating within that agreed level?
Yeah, great question. So we have a marked level on the volume, which is only accessible by managers. And that was agreed upon during an abutters meeting. I think we had at least maybe 15 people here from around the neighborhood. We actually all got out in the alleyway, turned on the music, and set the volume to kind of an agreed upon amount. We have not measured the decibels though of that. So that's definitely something that we could do if that would satisfy.
I guess I would ask.
So I'm just going to jump in. We can talk to the licensee about, what decibels are allowed. There's sound ordinances in the city. I think he testified that the volume of the music will be no louder than the volume of talking. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I mean that's how we try to keep it. We would rather people be talking than.
So, sir, we would take this into consideration. It would be a condition on their license. We don't have to get into numbers of decibels right now and how that is. That's
Oh.
something that's something our office would do with the licensee should they be granted an entertainment license.
Fully agreed. I think that is a great approach, and it's nice to know that it's listed in a city ordinance. Is there a device on site that you would recommend an operator have to?
So I'm just going to jump in again. Are you in support or opposition? They don't have to have their own monitoring device. They can download one, but I'm just trying to get control back on the hearing. Like, if you're in support or opposition, we're happy to take that support and opposition right now. It's not back and forth.
I am in general support as long as, looking at the license, the agreed upon aspects, not only with your office, but as well as with the neighborhood association, are clearly listed on that license. So that as we go forward, and Rebecca made me aware of the 311 place where you can call to complain. We don't want to be throwing or encouraging people to throw out complaints that aren't based on what we consider violations of what is listed on the license. Right now, the license is incredibly sparse. And again, the rear deck, which has had a huge impact on the neighborhood, has been in operation for a while and it's not listed on that license. So that's an important change for managing for the neighborhood.
So would the managers or whoever's on duty that night be willing to share their cell phone number with the abutters in case there's a problem? They could call you directly and you could lower the volume. I think that's a very reasonable solution. We ask of a lot of our licensees throughout the city. Instead of calling 311, maybe you call the restaurant directly.
Yeah,
And they can adjust the volume.
I've actually shared my personal cell phone as well as email with the group of abutters, and I'm not sure if you were included on that, Todd. So I can definitely extend that to you as well. My personal cell phone number, if there ever is an issue, and I'm very confident that we'll be able to remedy if music does get out of hand or anything else.
Yeah. So the one aspect Rebecca talked about 311 is your office would receive a record of that. So I think it's important because one of the agreements was to give a year trial to see how this goes, to see if the noise is properly managed. So
Sure,
working
it's
with
311.
Ted, with both Ted and Jim is great. And I personally, wasn't able to attend the exact meeting, but I kept aware and pleased not only with their openness to that, and then Ted responded very completely about an incident of a DJ with the open windows the other night, which was a very nice and thorough response. But we'd want to make sure if we're in a point of applying this, make sure the license is detailed and then monitoring it over a year, that would it make sense that using 311, make sure your office has a record of incidents that are.
Sure. What I would suggest is you first call the restaurant and say, the music is too loud, would you mind turning it down? Then you could email our office and say, the music was too loud and they did not turn it down. I think sound travels differently depending on the weather, how it bounces off buildings, depending if the windows are open or closed or ajar, or if there's more people. So yes, if you're trying to keep a record of it, please contact our office. But I think the solution is to contact the restaurant.
Okay, but I think again, both. We'd want to make sure there's a record of the incident. And again, so far, and Ted's reaction was very thorough and timely.
Okay, and I think you guys could have your conversation offline. This is not what the public hearing before the licensing board is about, to deal with one particular person's concerns. So if there's anybody else who would like to testify in support or opposition, we're happy to hear from you.
Hi, my name is Bob Barney. I'm in a butter. I'm also president of the Claremont Neighborhood Association, where this property is located. And I just have a comment first. So it's I think Todd has kind of raised all the issues as well as Kim, but we did have an incident this Saturday where there was a DJ and the back patio windows were open, and it was incredibly difficult for neighbors. So I just want to make sure the licensing board understands that the patio faces the back of Wellington, Mass Ave, and Columbus, and there are approximately 128 residences that abut the alley. So the disruption there was incredibly difficult. So I want to see if Jim and Ted will confirm that those windows, when they have a DJ or entertainment license, are never opened again, because it was incredibly difficult for people. And I want that to go on record, please.
Yeah, Bob, I can speak to that. So I can confirm that for you. And the issue there was COVID related, as I said in my previous email, and that the party there had serious concerns. They wanted to still go through with their event, but they had concerns about the lack of airflow from it being a closed off event, which is why the windows were open. It was a decision that obviously we're regretting now for this reason, but it felt right at the time for safety reasons. So, but moving forward, I feel confident that we'll never have a incident like that again.
And we're totally willing to commit that if we do have entertainment inside, that the windows will be closed.
Okay, that would be good, because I think we talked about it. It's probably just bad timing. I was away, but I got about 12 messages from neighbors regarding the noise level.
Okay, so we
it's
understand
really-
about the incident last weekend. We do understand about that.
And
I really think this is a conversation to have amongst neighbors. As the board, I want to ask, is there anybody else here who would like to testify in support or opposition?
So again, Joyce, I understand where you're trying to get at, but understanding this process of your office review and issuing of a license is important for this meeting for a lot of us. What is the legal process of now your office taking the amendments into advisement, potentially looking at the other records as far as indoor outdoor space, and the public being able to view what details in that license before you issue it? Is there some way or some timing that allows us?
Well, it's not a negotiation. I come out with a decision, and the decision is incorporated into the license, and that's a public record. So you could all get a copy of the decision and a copy of the license. You could submit whatever you'd like in writing, if you'd like. I mean, I think we've covered all the things that the board looks at. Rebecca, are there any other things that you have questions on as far as what might be missing in the application?
The only thing I have is just administrative. I need the notification to your abutters and the affidavit, as well as the newspaper tear sheet and the legal notice that was posted.
Get that over to you.
Okay.
Yeah, and if I could jump in, my name's Katie Brown. I'm also one of the abutters. I'm on Wellington. I'm also part of the Claremont Neighborhood Association. And I just want to echo some of the comments from Todd and Bob. I realize that there's not as many people on the call, but this has been a neighborhood impact. So I just want to go on the record to say I'm also, I think they're representing a larger population that they've heard from regarding this. Thank you.
So it sounds like the neighborhood association is in general support. They would like clarity on the license, and they're in support of the speakers out front for 1 year on a trial basis.
I would suggest that the neighborhood association send your office an official letter stating the support and the agreed upon items.
I'm not even sure neighborhood associations send official letters of support, but if they do,
we would take a letter if they have
we would take
it.
a letter.
Yeah.
We'll do
Some
that.
neighborhood
I'll send
associations
it.
do not.
Okay.
I can send it, and I've got 4 points that I'll put into the letter.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, and that concludes today's hearings. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you.